Hey, what's up? It's Mario Lopez. Back to school is an exciting time, but it can also be overwhelming, and kids may feel isolated, a vulnerability that human traffickers can exploit. Human trafficking doesn't always look like what you expect. Everyday moments can become opportunities for someone with bad intentions. Whether you're a parent, teacher, coach, or neighbor, check in, ask questions, stay connected. Blue Campaign is a national awareness initiative that provides resources to help recognize suspected instances of human trafficking. Learn the signs and how to report at dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
You know what's wild? Most people are still overpaying for car insurance just because it's a pain to switch. That's why there's Jerry. Jerry is the only app that compares rates from over 50 insurers in minutes and helps you switch fast with no spam calls or hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Before you renew your car insurance policy, do yourself a favor. Download the Jerry app or head to jerry.ai/ACAST.
Banking with Capital One helps you keep more money in your wallet with no fees or minimums on checking accounts and no overdraft fees. Just ask the Capital One bank guy. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. He'd also tell you that this podcast is his favorite podcast, too. Ah, really? Thanks, Capital One bank guy. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Picture this. You're in the garage, hands covered in grease, just finished up tuning your engine with a part you found on eBay, and you realize, you know what? I could also use new brakes. So where do you go next? Back to eBay. You can find anything there. It's unreal. Wipers, headlights, even cold air intakes. It's all there. And you've got eBay Guaranteed Fit. You order a part, and if it doesn't fit, send it back. Simple as that. Look, DIY fixes can be major. Doesn't matter if it's just maintenance or a major mod. You got it, especially when things are guaranteed to fit. So when you dive into your next car project, start with eBay. All the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
This is the Daily Tech News for Thursday, September 18th, 2025. We tell you what you need to know, we follow up on context, and we do our darndest, Jen, to help each other understand.
Today, Andy Beach will tell us about the return of Quibi. And Meta announces new smart glasses, but they got a little chunkier.
Yeah, some people call them ugly. Some people just call them big. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Jenn Cutter.
Let's start with what you need to know with the big story. Okay, lots to talk about here, but the big one is the smart glasses with a display. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg kicked off Meta's Connect developer conference on Wednesday evening. A nice little, fireside chat feel with his evening announcement. Most anticipated announcement was the Meta Ray-Ban display, the first smart glasses with Meta having a display in them. If you want to be specific, it's a full color LCOS display, not LCARS, Star Trek fans, LCOS, LCOS, with a reflective waveguide. So you don't really see it unless you look really hard at the glasses because it reflects onto the glasses. You might see a little bit of a gradient in there if you look really close. It is not an immersive display. It's not meant to be. It's a 20-degree field of view. So it's like a small square, 600 by 600 pixels, shows up in the right side of your view. It's on the right lens only, but it can get up to 5,000 nits of brightness. So when you're outside in sunlight, you should be able to see it still. You can watch small videos on it. You can read messages. You can get info like directions. You can even make video calls, although Mark Zuckerberg couldn't because the demo failed when he was trying to do it. It can also show you a preview of what's in a connected phone's camera. So if you are making a video call, you could use that and then see what you look like. It can show you live captions of what someone is saying to you, which could be good if you're hearing impaired, but also could be used for live translation. The display disappears when it's not in use. So most of the time you won't see the display. You control it by swiping along the frame, as you do with regular Ray-Bans, or with a new Meta Neural Band. This is available in 3 sizes. You put it around your wrist, and it uses electromyography, or EMG, to detect your muscle movements. It kind of detects the electrical activity in your wrist muscles, and that allows you to use gestures. So you can swipe a thumb across your hand. Pinching the thumb and index finger gives you select. Thumb and middle finger gives you back. Double tapping the thumb activates the voice assistant. And you can twist your hand to control things like music volume as if you were turning a knob. Later this year, Meta promises it will get the ability to recognize handwriting done in the air. It also promises 18 hours of battery life. Like the other non-visual smart glasses from Meta, has a 12 megapixel camera, has 1080p video, and it can go 6 hours on a charge. So the wrist thing has 18 hours of battery life. The glasses, 6 hours. And if you put them in the case, you can get an additional 30 hours of them. At launch, it doesn't work with everything. You're not going to be able to mirror stuff. So there's a pairing situation going on, and each app has to support it. It works with Meta AI's app, of course, works with Facebook Messenger. It works with WhatsApp. There's a special app for it coming from Spotify, and Instagram will only support it for direct messages at launch, though they say they're going to add Reels playback later this year. The Meta Ray-Ban display glasses go on sale September 30th for $799. They're encouraging people to go into a retailer in places where it's launching, and it's launching in multiple places around the world, including Canada, Jen. You can get them in 2 sizes. You can get them in black or brown. So you might want to go into a Lens Crafters or something and sit down, get them fitted, all that. We got new models of the audio-only smart glasses we'll get to in a minute. But Jen, what do you think of these?
Because I am selfish, I'm thinking like, do I have a use case for this? I don't. But for accessibility reasons, I can see this really taking off. There's so much good in there to help people who maybe just I know the audio ones do a lot, but having the video aspect of it is just going to add a lot for people. Like I'm kind of thinking of like if my grandma was still around, I would kind of be tempted to get this for her so she can still go around downtown Toronto and get the easy directions, but also have that comfort of having the visual thing right in front of her when she needs it.
Yeah. These remind me of the first gen Wayfarer glasses that they don't sell anymore, that had like 20 minutes of battery life and, barely could capture anything at, 720p. And like these show the way for the next model. These are very first gen. I kind of want to get them just to try them out, but I am stuck with those early Wayfarers and have not upgraded them because I bought that first version to try it out. So I've got mixed feelings about it. Like I see where they're going, but the limited battery life and the limitations on apps, I don't think this is going to fully realize what they can do eventually.
Well, with the wrist thing is the part that I'm actually most interested in. I guess it was like 5 years ago. There was this viral hoax thing. It's about like a wristband projector for your phone where you could do everything on your arm. And it's like, this actually made some of that real.
At least the control part. Right?
Yeah. So like when the additions come, like that's what I'm super interested to see develop here.
Yeah. Now, demonstrating what I just said about if you wait, they get better, the Oakley Meta Vanguards were announced. We just got the Oakley Houstons earlier this year, but the Vanguards are wraparound smart glasses meant for sports. So you're snowboarding, you're mountain biking, you're going to want to look at these. The button for video and photos is on the underside of the frame. So if you're wearing a helmet, which you should be if you're doing those kinds of sports, you can get to that button easier. They claim 9 hours of battery life, can do 3K video. Speakers are 6 decibels louder, and they're IP67 dust and water resistant. They're also designed to connect with Garmin fitness wearables, so you can hear your stats and use the Meta AI assistant to ask it about your stats. It also can connect to Strava and show performance graphics or tell you performance graphics. They sell for $499, shipping October 21st. So they're $100 more than the Oakley Houstons. And you can choose 4 frames and lens colors. I know these caught your eye.
I want them. I want them so bad. Now, it's slightly unfair to judge them from the excellent Red Bull presentation they did, because if you need a hype sports presentation that's sick on video, you go to Red Bull. But I have wanted to be able to show people hockey for years and years and years. I've tried every kind of GoPro configuration. The Ray-Bans are not good for this, but this is perfect. It fits under my helmet. It will hopefully allow people to show skating and the fluidity of hockey without making them motion sick.
Yeah.
But it is definitely way out of my price range once you make it into Canadian dollars. But I hope that others will do this. And I'd love to see the NHL jump on this outside of Red Bull, make their own videos.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an extreme sports thing, but I hadn't even thought about arena sports. You're right. Like,
yeah,
it's great
well,
for
if
hockey.
it fits under a helmet, let's go. Also, okay, the look is really fun because it's really kind of retro with the reflective glasses.
Yeah. That's cool. Also, we got an upgrade to the Ray-Ban Meta. They are now called Ray-Ban Meta Gen 2s. These are audio-only smart glasses. But if you haven't bought them, or if, like me, you're still stuck on the earliest, almost useless gen, the battery life is now 8 hours. That's up from 4 on the previous version. And they upgraded the video to 3K. Price also went up as well from $299 to $379. And those are available now. There's also a couple of other announcements here. The Horizon TV Hub is a new way to watch video in Quest headsets. So it aggregates video from multiple sources in one place. It's kind of like the Apple TV app or the Google TV app, which it brings together Disney, Amazon, Peacock, Twitch, and some movies from Blumhouse and Universal. As for the metaverse, the Meta Horizon Worlds Unity engine has been replaced. So for those of you who use Horizon to hang out in a virtual world, you're getting Meta's own Horizon engine, which it says will load 4 times faster and increase the number of participants on one instance to 100 at a time.
Are there 100 people, Tom?
I suspect we will hear from one or two of them to say, like, yes, I've been on an overloaded instance before. But yeah, this is not something I imagine is a mainstream problem. But you know, niche problems are important too.
DTNS is made possible by you, the listener. Thanks to Chris Beneteau, Jeffrey Zelks, Alo, Adam L., and a huge welcome to our new patrons, Brian, Mr. Evans, and Enrique.
Yay!
Welcome.
Y'all. It's great to have you.
Picture this. You're in the garage, hands covered in grease, just finished up tuning your engine with a part you found on eBay, and you realize, you know what? I could also use new brakes. So where do you go next? Back to eBay. You can find anything there. It's unreal. Wipers, headlights, even cold air intakes. It's all there. And you've got eBay Guaranteed Fit. You order a part, and if it doesn't fit, send it back. Simple as that. Look, DIY fixes can be major. Doesn't matter if it's just maintenance or a major mod. You got it, especially when things are guaranteed to fit. So when you dive into your next car project, start with eBay. All the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Hey, what's up? It's Mario Lopez. Back to school is an exciting time, but it can also be overwhelming, and kids may feel isolated, a vulnerability that human traffickers can exploit. Human trafficking doesn't always look like what you expect. Everyday moments can become opportunities for someone with bad intentions. Whether you're a parent, teacher, coach, or neighbor, check in, ask questions, stay connected. Blue Campaign is a national awareness initiative that provides resources to help recognize suspected instances of human trafficking. Learn the signs and how to report at dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
Most people overpay for car insurance, not because they're careless, but because switching feels like too much hassle. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/ACAST today.
If you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, Grainger knows you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters, Grainger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters to help you identify and fix the problem. With Grainger, you can be confident you have everything you need to keep your facility running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Maya and Sim from the Girls That Invest podcast. If you are an IT or security pro, you know managing devices, identities, and applications can feel overwhelming and honestly risky. That's where Trellica by 1Password comes in. It helps conquer SaaS sprawl and shadow IT by discovering every app your team uses, managed or not. With pre-built app profiles, you can assess risk, manage access, and even optimize your software spend. Plus, it simplifies onboarding, offboarding, and compliance, all while cutting costs by eliminating unused licenses. Take the first step to better security for your team. Learn more at onepassword.com/special offer.
There's more we need to know today. Let's get to the briefs.
We've got a few Apple notes for you today. If you have upgraded to iOS 26, you may have noticed that screenshots start as a small thumbnail preview you have to tap on to enlarge. One of the most popular topics today is how to turn off that thumbnail preview. Go to Settings, General, then Screen Capture. You can toggle full screen previews on and never see the thumbnail again. Also, while Apple didn't raise the entry-level price on its phones, it did raise the top-end price for fully spec'd versions. Bloomberg estimates that the average selling price of an iPhone will rise about 4% in the next fiscal year. And finally, some reviewers noticed that bright LED sources caused black spots or squiggles in photos taken with the iPhone Air and iPhone Pro Max. Apple says it has a software fix all ready to go.
Hey, we got one of the shipping problems out of the way before people even got them shipped. Good job, reviewers. At least if that update gets pushed fast enough. And I went and checked. I had already turned off the screenshot thing in the beta version, I guess, and I don't remember doing that. But I went to double check these instructions. I was like, oh, look at that. I already turned that off.
Yeah, see, I haven't upgraded yet because I always like giving it a little bit before I make that big push.
I'm usually right there with you, but I wanted to test the messaging stuff where you can filter messages differently now, and so I had to get on the beta like a month or so ago, but it's been fine. It's actually I was a little nervous about doing that, but it's been fine. Nvidia and Intel announced a joint partnership on Thursday, which sees Nvidia take a 4 to 5% stake in Intel and work on a bunch of other stuff together. The two companies are going to integrate Nvidia's NVLink data and control code interface into Intel CPUs. That'll be attractive to data center enterprise level folks. Intel will make a line of x86 CPUs specifically made for NVIDIA's AI infrastructure platform. Again, another attractive thing for people building data centers, could sell Intel some more chips. And for us home users, Intel will integrate NVIDIA RTX GPU chiplets into its x86 system on a chip to come in a wide range of PCs, especially gaming PCs. Those will be called the Intel x86 RTX SoCs.
See, we're all pretty in this. We follow Intel, we follow NVIDIA, and by we, I am including all of you lovely listeners out there. But if I asked any of my normie friends, they would be able to name Intel as a chip manufacturer, but have no idea about the health of it or how it is struggling right now.
I suppose that's true. Although Intel has made some mainstream news when the United States government took a stake or announced that it would take a stake in Intel. So that may have made a few more people aware of the troubles Intel has. But yeah, as followers of this show know, Intel has been on the rocks. It's gone through multiple CEOs. It's been declining. It's not going out of business anytime soon, but it's had problems. This really points the way to a future for Intel where it's got a very successful client, so a built-in supply of chip sales, and possibly a long-term route for merger or acquisition with NVIDIA down the road. It starts with a 4 to 5% stake. That might be as far as it ever goes, but it is the kind of thing that opens that possibility a little more. No matter what, this is good news for Intel. It's going to sell more chips, and it's got a positive-looking future marketplace that it didn't have before.
Yeah, and in terms of, obviously they've done well with businesses and stuff, but to get this kind of integrated gaming thing, gamers are also the other market that have continued to buy high-end hardware.
Yeah, and if you're I know most people listening who play video games are probably going to say, I don't want an integrated GPU. But if you did, or if you had to, or if there was a second PC, wouldn't it be nice for it to be an NVIDIA RTX?
As expected, Nothing's Ear 3 earbuds have a microphone in the case, and now we know why. That mic has better beam forming than you could fit in earbuds, so you can block out everything that isn't your voice. It works with some but not all apps, including Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, WhatsApp, and WeChat for calls and voice memos for both Android and iOS, as well as Blackmagic's video app. The Ear 3s are available to order now for $179 and ship September 25th.
That's interesting. I'm not sure if it's enough to make me get the Nothing Ear 3s, but it's an interesting option. And if anybody has these and tries it out, let us know how that works.
Yeah, I kind of love that they also specified Blackmagic's video app, which is great. And then for someone like me who doesn't have earbuds, it's like, oh, is that worth it for me if I'm doing videos on the go to just go straight with that?
And now that's your external mic. I mean, it's going to be better to get an actual external mic, but in a pinch, right?
It's a twofer.
Flexibility. Friday is the scheduled call between the presidents of China and the U.S., after which supposedly we will get details on the sale of TikTok's U.S. operation. Meanwhile, the strategic pieces keep moving around in the background. This is all China trying to position itself for leverage in that final deal. China ended its antitrust probe into Google over the dominance of Android. One can suspect maybe that was a condition of this deal that the U.S. put forth. It also appeared to soften a bit regarding Nvidia. Earlier in the week, if you missed it, the Cyberspace Administration of China ordered ByteDance, Alibaba, and other companies to stop testing and cancel orders for Nvidia's RTX Pro 6000D. That's not as popular. You probably haven't heard of it as much as the H20, which is for data centers. The 6000D is for workstations. So it allows you to do AI development and some 3D rendering on the workstation. China's ministry spokesperson told a press conference on Thursday that it will keep dialogue open regarding supply chains. Now, that's far from saying we will reverse that decision about prohibiting purchases of RTX Pro 6000Ds, but it's something you would not expect them to say if they were going to maintain a hard line on that.
Yeah, I think as we've learned recently across the board, anytime you hear about a framework deal, you know that there's very little in print in stone and anything can happen. But yeah, from China, this is a step. You don't usually hear this kind of soft speaking out of it. Yeah.
And I think it's almost just as wrong to say, well, a framework deal means nothing, which is not what you were saying, of course, but somebody might, right? Mm-hmm. It's just as wrong to say that as to say a framework deal means it's all done. Framework deal means we think we can finish it. But especially when you're dealing with these two, it's far from a guarantee. I have a feeling this is going to happen. The fact that the extension for TikTok's deadline in the U.S. was pushed to December for the enforcement of the law tells me that they want to give it plenty of room to get those details worked out, or we would be hearing a lot more bluster, and we wouldn't see China softening on the stances. So this puts my confidence that this deal will happen at 72%.
No, that's fair, because for a framework, we have heard more semi-specific details than we have in the past.
And we've been seeing the moves you would expect if an agreement is coming. That earlier in the week, I was like, well, then why are they banning the Nvidia if they're going to do this deal? But, now we're seeing that.
And thanks to Motang for posting this one on our subreddit. Valve announced it will convert its Steam app to 64-bit soon and stop supporting the 32-bit version of the Windows app starting next year. Windows 10 is soon to enter extended support, and it is the only version of Windows available in 32-bit. You'll still be able to play 32-bit games in Steam. You just won't get a 32-bit version of the Steam app.
Yeah, the news here to me was like Steam is still a 32-bit app. I didn't realize that.
I did not know that as well. I'm trying to think of what was the last 32-bit system I owned, but I'd have to reach pretty far back for that.
And it runs on your 64-bit Windows systems just fine, but they're going to fix that. And when they do, that means they're not going to support the old one. They're not going to maintain 2 versions of it, which makes sense as you know, Windows 10 is 64-bit most of the time. It's just the only one that does do a 32-bit system. Speaking of Microsoft, it added features to the developer and Canary versions of Notepad, Paint, and the snipping tool. So if you have a Copilot Plus PC, Notepad can now do summarize, write, and rewrite Copilot features without you needing to subscribe to Microsoft 365. And you may say, oh, because they do it on the Copilot processor, which is true, but that also includes cloud processing if you want. You can choose to do that. Paint gets the option to save project files so you can resume work on them later, and an opacity slider for the pencil and brush tools. And the snipping tool gets a markup feature. So you get a pen, an eraser, and a highlighter if you want to make some notes before you finish capturing that screenshot.
The paint thing is what fascinates me here. I think along with a lot of other people, when you needed to do something just really quick with an image, you probably went to Photopea, like P as in PEA, which is basically an online browser working Photoshop. It has an insane amount of features, and it's like one guy who does this. Will this be enough to bring people back to Paint, or will people just keep using what they've used for the last several years to get all this done?
Yeah, let us know if you're like, actually, maybe I'm the one who will start using Paint, because I can't imagine it brings too many people back. It's just a couple of features, but probably enough for some. Mm-hmm. Okay, there were a bunch of interesting things today that don't need a lot of explanation, but I think they're worth telling you so you can file them away for future reference.
India is the country making the most use of Gemini 2.5 Flash image, aka Nano Banana. Gemini is at the top of the free app charts for both Google and Apple in India.
The U.S. House Oversight Committee has requested testimony from the CEOs of Discord, Twitch, Reddit, and Valve, specifically to talk about Steam, to appear October 8th and talk about what their platforms are doing to combat online radicalization and the, quote, incitement to commit politically motivated acts.
Online fast fashion app Shein will let other fashion brands use its apparel manufacturing network in China for their own clothing, as long as they sell some of it on Shein. Shein's network can turn around new designs in 5 to 7 days.
Tesla is redesigning its passenger door handles so they are less likely to get jammed after an accident. There have been some instances where electronic locks stopped working and passengers had a hard time finding the manual door release.
Uber will partner with Flytex to conduct a wider test of drone delivery in the U.S. this year. Flytrex also operates Walmart's drone deliveries.
I want burritos flown to me. U.S. public transit company Via will work with Waymo to offer public transit customers in Chandler, Arizona, the option to take a Waymo ride during peak hours for just $2 a ride.
And Nikkei says Apple has started its talks with suppliers about making a test run of its first foldable phones.
So it begins. All right, those are the essentials for today. Let's dive a little deeper.
Oh no, they're at it again. Hollywood is revisiting short-form TV, and this time they're doing it with AI on their side. Will that help? Tom asked Andy Beach to help us decide.
Andy, thanks so much for bringing us the latest Quibi.
It feels like it's the same thing all over again, doesn't it, Tom?
Yeah, maybe they'll do a Quibi-ized version of Groundhog Day. So tell me about Microco, which is an amazing name for a company that is going to try once again to do high quality short form video. What are they doing that will help them succeed where others like Quibi have not?
Well, so this was a New York Times article I found, and I was fascinated by it because I do think there has been a lot of talk recently in particular. I would say within the last 2 months, I've seen a lot of content around micro dramas and short form fictional works, in part a lot because of sort of the power of AI to do productions, and because of the expense of AI for long form, it's still being used for short form. So this new startup out of LA, it's called Microco. They are coming back at the Quibi model with a few subtle differences that I think will help. It's co-founded by a Hollywood veteran, Lloyd Braun. It's backed by Cineverse and Banyan Ventures. And they're looking to create ultra short dramas. So they're targeting the 1 to 3 minute range. And they are looking at it just being optimized for a vertical phone viewing. So that right there, I think, takes some of the effort out of what Quibi was trying to do, which was tell a story that could easily switch between horizontal and vertical. Whereas here they're ceding to the phones and saying, we know you like your phones. We know vertical video has become very common. We're going to target for that.
Okay. So first thing is they're not, letting you choose whether it's landscape or vertical. Right. They're still going for the same crowd as TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Is there anything else they're doing that'll help them stand out?
Well, I mean, they're certainly looking for names. I mean, that's part of the reason I think it is an LA startup at the end of the day, and that they went with the backers that they have, because these are all names that are known in the Hollywood space. So sure. I believe they're going to be recruiting people from what we think of as traditional media to.
Quibi did the same thing, though. So
they did, but they tried to shoehorn other elements into it, and I think the cleaner, stripped down version of it. And they're not trying to build the entire platform here either. They're really just the movie studio, and they'll be looking for the platforms. These may well just show up on TikTok, or they may be in an Instagram reel, or they may be a YouTube short. So they're not trying to keep it in a self-contained ecosystem. They're
smart.
Looking to expand it out. They're looking to just stay adaptive to that vertical format that all of these platforms know and that has a growing audience. And then they are trying to take advantage of AI in a major way. They believe that they can get particularly, and there is a pretty heavy focus right now on animated as an early start. And they believe that AI will reduce their animation cost by as much as 90%, or effectively making it about $1,500 per minute for these finished works.
That's crazy. I know this is huge in China. I'm trying to look up the name of one of these that my wife watches all the time on Viki. But there's these short animated adventures, that are 10 minutes long, which is a little longer than what we're talking about here. But there's ones that are even shorter.
They are a lot of those. This is definitely adapted from Asian microdramas, which are popular in Korea, China, Japan, multiple places. They often are, even though the dramas themselves might be anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes, but they're usually multi-episode, and those episodes, for what we think of as a season or a complete story, could be as many as 60 different episodes.
Yeah. I think it was called Soul Land, the one that I'm looking for.
Yeah. I have seen that one online before. And I think, the reality is they're trying to tell still potentially an hour-long story. They're just doing it over 61-minute episodes.
Okay. So they're using some generative models to get the cost down, which, a bunch of people are going to be angry about that. But maybe they can still get celebrities to join them despite that. That's going to be a little complicated, I guess, in Hollywood. But otherwise, if they have good stories and if they are not gatekeeping it seems like, okay, it'll be easy for people to discover them, which is one of the things that brought down Quibi, is people had to download Quibi to watch it. What else is going to make them stand out besides just the production value? Like, are they using any AI or other things to try to figure out, how to meet public tastes?
So one of the first things they're doing is they are using back catalog. Cineverse has an existing 71,000 title library, and part of it will be taking and adapting some of that existing content into a microdrama format. So they have a rich pool to start. And what they will likely then do is use AI to very closely scrutinize and monitor what's being successful and what's not, and use that to make decisions about the types of new content that they're creating out of the gate. So they're not necessarily going to rush out and empower a wide range of artists to just go create anything and then 1 out of 5, or really in Hollywood, it's probably 1 out of 30 is successful. They're going to start with some existing material, which is always cheaper to start with to begin with. And then they can use the results of that to really go pick and choose the right kinds of stories that fit the micro drama or the short form content in a more serious way.
I love this idea of stakes within 3 seconds, dramatic hooks by 23. Boom, boom, stamp it out. We know the formula. Honestly, people who make shorts tell me the same thing. So that tracks.
I mean, I was at the Brian Brushwood Weird Things seminar, and it felt like I was listening to him. Like if he read this article, he would be violently nodding along with him.
Fantastic. Well, I now have MicroCo on my radar, and so I don't know if it'll be obvious when something comes from MicroCo. I don't know if they'll have a big MicroCo branding on it or not, but I'll be looking to see if I can identify what's coming from them. This is cool, Andy. Thanks for bringing this to us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll be keeping an eye on it, and one of the things I'll be trying to pay attention to is to see if the MicroCo name actually sticks.
Yeah. It's a great. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's a company about very small things. Andy, you have very big things going on the internet. Where can people find them?
I'm writing about things like this around media technology and how AI is changing the way we think about it. That's called Engines of Change, and it's a Substack over at engines-of-change.ai.
Thank you for giving me 3 MicroCo episodes worth of content today, Andy.
My pleasure, Tom, and I can't wait to come back for 59 more episodes.
See you then.
Take care.
What do you think, Jenn?
I think we'll know this succeeds when my mom sends me a text saying, "Oh my God, have you seen this?" Because that is how I know when things have hit the true mainstream.
Yes. I was thinking the same thing for my father-in-law. He watches these short
all the
time. So yeah. I think you nailed it. Well, folks, if you have feedback about anything that gets brought up on the show, get in touch with us on the social networks. We are at DTNS Show. That's 2 S's, I know, but it's at DTNS Show on X, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Mastodon, and Nostr, and actually on Tumblr. For TikTok and YouTube, you can find us at Daily Tech News Show.
Picture this. You're in the garage, hands covered in grease, just finished up tuning your engine with a part you found on eBay, and you realize, you know what? I could also use new brakes. So where do you go next? Back to eBay. You can find anything there. It's unreal. Wipers, headlights, even cold air intakes. It's all there. And you've got eBay Guaranteed Fit. You order a part, and if it doesn't fit, send it back. Simple as that. Look, DIY fixes can be major. Doesn't matter if it's just maintenance or a major mod. You got it, especially when things are guaranteed to fit. So when you dive into your next car project, start with eBay. All the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Hey, what's up? It's Mario Lopez. Back to school is an exciting time, but it can also be overwhelming, and kids may feel isolated, a vulnerability that human traffickers can exploit. Human trafficking doesn't always look like what you expect. Everyday moments can become opportunities for someone with bad intentions. Whether you're a parent, teacher, coach, or neighbor, check in, ask questions, stay connected. Blue Campaign is a national awareness initiative that provides resources to help recognize suspected instances of human trafficking. Learn the signs and how to report at dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
We end every episode of DTNS with some shared wisdom. Today, Anonymous Picker was among several people to have a concern about TCL's new 4-way door lock.
Right, because it gave you 4 different ways to unlock it. Picker wrote, "As someone who has a background in both lock picking and cybersecurity, I wouldn't say I'm excited about the smart lock mentioned in a recent DTNS episode, which touts the ease of having 4 ways to open it. When I hear that, I hear this lock has 4 ways to crack it. If you trust the company, that might be fine. But you are asserting that you believe the vendor is an expert at preventing all those attacks. Maybe this vendor is the one that can do it, but every week I see examples where vendors didn't anticipate an issue with something because it wasn't their main area of focus. To help folks understand the risks, there's a great online account called the Lock Picking Lockpicking Lawyer. It's an eye-opening resource for understanding the vulnerabilities that folks might want to be aware of before making a purchase. And no, I'm not affiliated with that account. I just agree with the insights I've seen there. Keep up the good work. Love the show, Anonymous Picker.
I would love to also second the Lockpicking Lawyer. It showed up in my recommendations years ago, and I was like, fine, I'll click. And I was like, oh man, this is fascinating. It is excellent production. It's very informative and really fun. It's worth checking out.
Without disagreeing with anything our Anonymous Picker said, and without me intending to undermine the message, I would say that this is kind of true of all locks. Like, most people don't have the most secure lock on their house that they could get. Locks can be picked if someone really wants to. Adding 3 more ways to pick it, to me, probably doesn't appreciably increase the risk for most people, because someone could just do a good old-fashioned lock pick on a lock with only one way to get into it. So I wouldn't want people to take the wrong message of like, this is just going to let thieves just, into your house and roam all around, because it's compared to the existing security in your home. That said, I think Anonymous Picker is thinking of it from the security standpoint as a cybersecurity professional, and that is important to say. Don't use this on something that has a high risk, or that you really want to make the most secure, because that's not what it's meant for, and it would not be more secure. It would be less secure.
Yeah. Everyone has a different threat model that they need to adjust for.
Well said. Exactly.
So what are you thinking about? Do you have some insight into a story? Please share it with us over at feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com.
Big thanks to Andy Beach and our Anonymous Picker for contributing to today's show. Thank you for being along for Daily Tech News Show. You can keep us in business. We'll go out of business without you. Become a patron. Patreon.com/DTNS. Talk to you soon.
The DTNS family of podcasts, helping each other understand.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
This episode is brought to you by Capital One. Capital One's tech team isn't just talking about multi-agentic AI. They already deployed one. It's called Chat Concierge, and it's simplifying car shopping. Using self-reflection and layered reasoning with live API checks, it doesn't just help buyers find a car they love. It helps schedule a test drive, get pre-approved for financing, and estimate trade-in value. Advanced, intuitive, and deployed. That's how they stack. That's technology at Capital One.
If you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, Grainger knows you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters, Grainger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters to help you identify and fix the problem. With Grainger, you can be confident you have everything you need to keep your facility running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.